What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Mystic Watch, and today we got a new video for you. We are going to be doing a sort of like a tier list, but it's going to be a video on which are the best units to summon for in order of release date, as well as also tiered. In this video, I am not here by myself. I am here with my friend Sora. How's it going?
I am Sora SB. Hello.
This is Sora S. Isn't it SSB?
SSB, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said SB. Okay.
Nah, never.
So Sora's the one who's been making all my really nice thumbnails. You can tell the difference.
Yeah, the beginner's guides, yeah.
The beginner's guides. So if you want some thumbnail commissions, overlays, anything, make sure you hit him up. But he's also doing the Grand Cross grind. So I'll have his channel linked down below. Make sure you take a look at what he's doing. He's been making good stuff over there too. So he's going to be joining me for this video. To start off, I'm not showing my desktop, right? So I will hop into that in a second. But we are here on the JP version, and we are going to be taking a look at key units that you want to summon for. Pretty much the goal of this video is to give you guys a timeline saying that these are the units that are the most broken in the game when they drop for X amount of time. That way you know what to skip. You know, if you don't see a unit on here, chances are it's probably not worth it. So key units, and we'll show you on the tier list, but both Escanors. We have a Derieri, something just fell. Okay. We have a Derieri, we have an Estarossa, and I'll show them off in a second. But I own everything in this game besides this stupid Halloween Meliodas. And it tilts me. This Arthur we're getting for free.
This also just came out and he's free to play and everyone's getting him, so it's fine.
But this one Meliodas. So unless this Meliodas is the best unit in the game, I can't speak for him. But everyone else I do own, I've used them for the most part. So let's hop over to my desktop and just show off what units you want to aim for. And these are not tiered individually in terms of which unit is best. They are actually ordered by release date. So you know, if you're taking a look at... Oh, I gotta pin this to the top. That always tilts me. Okay, there we go. So, for example, the best unit in the game is Rimuru because he has a cool sword. And I want to show that off first before anything else.
Pretty much.
Woo! Look at that! Come on. Yeah. I whaled out, bought also, everything.
With Rimuru and in general, the slime collab units, we're not sure if Global is going to get them. Because on JP they haven't returned ever since the first collab, but Season 2 of the slime anime is coming out soon, I think. Yes. So that might hit on Global, since JP got it fairly early as well. JP got it,
we got it
I'm on the list right now.
Within 2
months.
Yeah.
The game.
It was the second month of the game. Also, one thing to keep in mind, the chances of them not returning are probably higher. Simply True. Because if you know how I go down here, I can see that I'm missing Meliodas. You used to be able to see all the slime collab units, but eventually they removed them off the character list. So if you don't own them, you actually can't see them on this list.
They added it back. They made it so when you click the filter, you can select all units and then you see the slime ones.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
But that's probably still like the same thing. That probably still means that they might not return. That's why not in the general pool list.
Right, we got the Benimaru, Milam, and Rimuru. So in terms of actually how good these units are, they're just decent. They weren't even that strong when they came out. Milam was the best one of the three, and that was it. You know, they're like, you'll use them for some things like PvE related content, but it's not like if you don't pull them, you're gonna die. I just personally...
mostly trophies.
Yeah, I personally just cannot stand missing out on exclusive units.
Meliodas.
But he's Halloween, he's coming back.
He's coming back, yeah.
Okay, so let's get on to the actual stuff. In order, this is not a tier list for who is the best unit in the game. This is which units to summon for in order of release date. Keep that in mind. I hate
There's other really great SSRs, but
yes,
because they'll be in a general pool, or you don't need them as much as others. You should technically skip them unless you're whale and just summon them whatever you want.
Right.
But for the most part, only summon on the units that we're going to talk about.
Pretty much, right? This is like if you don't spend money on the game, you have a limited amount of gems. You want to know exactly which banners to summon on, and I want to talk about certain things because there's like asterisks involved with every single one of these categories. Besides yes. Yes, so these are the key units to this game, and we're going to go one at a time. Starting off with the Red Helbram. He's the unit that we expected to drop this week, but we got Bond instead.
Weird.
And he is the focal point to the cancer comp known as Kingbrum. If you... Do you want to explain Kingbrum a little bit?
Yeah, so first of all, I've got the banner list and release. I actually messaged real quick. And Helbram should have been in week 2. He should have been released already, but he's not. But what he does is, and then you know what he does. He takes off Old Gauge and he petrifies. He's also a fairy, so he gets the buff from Blue King, who also petrifies. And with Gowther probably coming out soon to Global, you'll be able to get their rank 2 skills that make him able to petrify pretty easily. And what you do in PvP is you just stun both. Like you stun 2 opponents, you stun 3 opponents, you stun them all. They're not allowed to play the game, and then you nuke them with their AOE ults, because both all 3 Gowther, King, and Helbram have AOE ults, which all hit decently hard. Helbram's on the weaker side, but he makes up for it in his other skills doing stupid damage, especially because of his passive.
All right.
It gives him a 20% increase in base stats, because usually you'll have 4 units on your team.
It's 5% for each surviving ally, including himself. I don't know if you remember this, but when Helbram came out, his passive was bugged, and it gave double stats.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Oh my god. Man, was that rough.
That's why I made my hate tweets about PvP.
Okay, so that is Helbram. He's also just really good in PvE. The main thing is his utility that he offers is so good, right? Petrify plus being able to snatch 1 ultimate gauge. Just being able to control ultimate gauge is such a good, skill. I'm sure if you guys have played the story up until now, you've used Red Bond, and you know how key just like, they have an ultimate, you take one away. They have an ultimate, you take one away. It's just too good. But, main thing is PvP, wrong tier list, okay, there we go. PvP, Cancer Monster, and the thing is, he is useful all the time. He came out, what was it, week 2, 3?
Week 2 of the game, yeah.
And he is still today, if I go into PvP, run him now, I will still have like an 80% win rate.
It's you also have people surrendering at the sheer sight of Kingbrum.
Yeah, so, amazing unit. Now, the next unit to come out, key unit, is going to be Green Escanor. He's the first Escanor we get. He is amazing. When he came out originally, I was super underwhelmed because his moves didn't do anything. It was just like, do damage. I'm like, oh, that's really depressing. Because, like, you're expecting like a cool effect. But then, when we got in-game, saw his stats, and realized that he just one-shots anything. It's so funny.
Yeah, he ignores defense pretty much, and his first skill makes it so when he attacks, like other than just having stupid multipliers, when he attacks, he raises his ult gauge by 1, and his ult gauge is literally a one-shot for any unit in PvP, no matter the type. And his second skill ignites, which we have ignite on global with Vivian. But his second skill that ignites makes it so he does 10% more damage, plus it takes off other people's buffs. It's really stupid, and the best thing about him, in my opinion, is his passive. When he's at max ult gauge, you can't debuff or buff him, which the buff one is irrelevant because he does too much damage by himself anyway, so you don't need to buff him. But the debuff one, like let's say you're running against Kingbrum, who we just mentioned, when he's petrified and you have 4 to 5 ult gauge, you can move a card and he's unpetrified and he's ready to go.
Yeah, and that mattered so much more because before they changed it where you could cleanse petrify, like earlier on, if you were petrified or stunned or something, you were not able to select that unit's cards. So even if you used the king to cleanse, the game physically would not allow you to click on the unit's cards, so you couldn't select them to use them. So that changed. So before, Escanor was the only one who could get around Kingbrum, because you would just combine cards or move stuff around to get him to 5 ultimate gauge and then smack him. But yeah, main thing is he just does too much damage. His ultimate is 840%, does nothing else besides that. Rank 1.
Rank 1. It's 1,400 something on max rank.
Yeah, what do I have him at right now? I have him 5.6. So it goes to 1260 max.
Plus the Merlin Fate.
Right. With Merlin, it's even higher. So it's just, it's stupid. One shots anything. He also, because he has 80% penetration or pierce rate, he deals borderline. So I'm gonna say true damage, because that's...
If you played League of Legends,
Yeah.
you know what he means. Yeah.
If you know what true damage is, it's just like the actual, without taking defense into account, right? How much damage you would actually do if they have 0 resistances. So same thing kind of here. Because he has 80% penetration, he just does so much raw damage. And on top of that, the element doesn't even matter. He's a green unit. If you see a red unit, you will smack them down and they will die. It does not
Treat him
matter.
like Red Gogeta if you've played Dokkan Battle, or any Gogeta, I think, yeah.
Right. Irrelevant to
much the same
type, like the type disadvantage.
Ignoring type disadvantage and advantage, he's just killing everything.
Now let's go to
Like he should, being Escanor.
Now, next unit, we're gonna talk about these in a pair. Blue Lilia and Demon Meliodas. So Lilia is an original character to Grand Cross. She is the second original character after Green Lilia, who was given out as a free unit during the Slime collab. I am not sure how she'll be released. In reference to Green Lilia, I'm not sure how she'll be released to Global, but the fact that she's free, I'm sure we'll get her. That's why I'm not including her on this list at all. But Blue Lilia and Blue Demon Meliodas, when they came out, each one by themselves is really good, but paired together on PvP, they are considered, even to this day, the best team to run.
Yeah, pretty much. No, nothing. It's the same thing with Escanor. What Lilia does is she increases the penetration / pierce rate, what you want to call it, of everyone by half of her own, and she already starts at 50. And if you remember with Escanor, we said he does true damage because he has over 100 penetration with his stars and everything. She makes it so everyone is Escanor, pretty much. Especially Meliodas, who triples his penetration on his attack, which is also AoE, so even better for PvP. Plus, being able to heal and take off ult gauge from everyone with her attacks is really stupid.
Really good
and
moveset.
For PvE as well, like for farming and everything, you can still use her for super boss and other endgame content she's still used.
So
Great.
Let me just go over to Blue Meliodas. The main thing about Blue Meliodas is this move right here that says inflicts pierce rate triples his pierce rate, right? So he already goes to 120, and then with Blue Lilia goes even higher. And for people who don't understand how pierce rate works, your pierce rate is the difference between like what actually gets applied. Like it's like, oh, if you have over 100, it doesn't matter. That's actually not true. If you have over 100, you can still not apply a full 100% pierce rate because of someone's resistance. Resistance is subtracted. So the fact that, let's say I have 100% or 100 pierce rate and the opponent has 20 resistance, you're only applying 80%. So that's why going over 100 is really key, because you then genuinely do true damage.
Yeah.
If you guys have used Bond at all in PvP yet, or saw how much damage he does, it's like, oh wow, that's massive damage. Meliodas is like quadruple that damage.
Easily.
He
if not
ends
more.
games in one turn. Where
Yeah, if you start off with 2 AoE cards, it's over.
Yeah, you will genuinely win the game. When he came out, he would possibly win the game on turn 1, where he goes just AoE, and their entire team dies. And still today, same exact thing.
To this day. Well, there is a unit that stops it, but that's for later.
Now, with Lilia, the other thing I want to mention is she is a guaranteed unit. So if you do 10 steps, she's not a free unit, but if you do 10 steps on her banner, you will be given that unit. Like, she's guaranteed on the final step.
10 steps are 242 gems because you get 2 1-gem multis.
Yes.
So you save 58 gems.
Now, Estarossa...
If you 100% know Nagato, so...
Oh my god.
It's his favorite unit, and it's everyone's favorite unit. If you've used him once, he's so satisfying.
If you guys have used Green Meliodas...
Exactly.
And the full, the counter is so satisfying. Estarossa is the next unit to have a counter. And it's just great. Let me pull him up while you explain it.
The difference between him and the Green Meliodas is that his one is based on his attack stat. Same with the Blue Meliodas, but his attack stat is just like 10 times higher, so it actually matters. Which also, the actual reason why he's so stupid is because his counter taunts opponents. They are forced to attack you. They have to attack you so that you will get your counter off. And it's not just once. You don't just counter once. On rank 3, it lasts for 3 turns, I believe. And it...
2 turns.
It does... Oh, 2 turns. And they're forced to attack you. And you do 600% of your attack. That's like some other people's ultimates. Just in return to them. Which is really stupid. In addition to that, he has a commandment, which I'll let you explain what commandments are.
Commandments are a second passive, but they are applied to everyone. So whatever the commandment is, typically they say something that affects everyone in the game. So for example, in this case, after allies and enemies receive damage, apply a debuff that decreases the attack-related stats. Attack-related stats means attack, pierce rate, crit chance, crit damage. It reduces it by 20% for 3 turns, and this gets applied to whoever did the attack.
Yeah, so you taunt them, they're forced to attack you, they do less damage because their attack-related stats are lower, and with a Meliodas link, he has 30%-ish lifesteal, so a third of what he's doing, he's healing back, so he's unkillable, he kills everyone, does really stupid damage, and his other attack card just ignores defense flat out, so his attack card's also nothing to laugh about. It's really, really good.
And we didn't really talk about ultimates prior to now, like with the other units as much, but Estarossa is someone who has a really, really, really strong ultimate. He does a preemptive attack. Pretty much, it's hard to explain it while just by reading this, and you kind of have to see it. Let me see if I can...
Yeah, you can click on the cards and hop. Yeah.
But with Estarossa, what ends up happening is you do your ultimate and it does nothing, right? So the ultimate does nothing, but the next turn... let me...
Yeah, the next turn when they attack or do anything that is a harmful attack, so they can still heal or buff, but everything other than that...
but anything that applies damage, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think they can debuff, right? So if they apply any damage to you in the next turn, it stops that attack from happening, it does Estarossa's ultimate, and then it also just ends the turn.
Yeah, it's like a attack nullify in Yu-Gi-Oh! The trap card, pretty much.
So it's
Which
like...
also, there's one more thing about Estarossa we didn't mention. His passive is that when he enters a stance, he is immune.
Oh right, he's immune to debuffs.
So you can't just petrify him and get rid of the taunt like you can with like red Gilthund or a green Meliodas. No, you're
and
forced
his own
to
commandment gets cleansed.
Yeah, so he doesn't get the attack reduction either. Stupid.
Amazing unit. But another asterisk is he will end up in the coin shop, but it does take a while for him to end up in the coin shop from when he was released.
Yeah.
So he is like a must-have unit, but he will be 10 coins or 7 on discount. So he's more than the Sins. And that's just because 10 coins, 10 commandments. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Derieri. Oh wait, do we want anything else about Estarossa?
Yeah, just in general, like if you so they just really spawn on global as well, and we told you to summon, even though he is technically a contributor or probably will be a contributor even on global. But if you can save 5 gems by just pulling him in like a multi or 2, that's much more efficient.
5 coins, not gems.
Yeah, 5 coins. That's why it's still much more efficient to summon for him.
Right.
Especially when it's 10
right, because pulling 5 dupes is not easy.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Derieri. The rest of the units I'm not going to talk about. We're going to spend less time on them because we're already hitting like 20 minutes. But Derieri, if you guys use Jericho and seen anything I've done with Jericho and she's the best nuker in the game, Derieri is now the best nuker in the game. There's not much to talk about with her. It's
pretty much, if you play Dokkan Battle and you have a 100% rainbow unit, she does more damage. That's the
with Derieri, the main thing is she does damage. She does more damage with each buff that she has on her, and she can apply up to 10 buffs to herself every time she attacks. Every time she uses a skill, she gains a buff, an attack buff. So she's gaining attack, and then her ultimate does damage based on how many buffs she has. So it's pretty much like, to give you an example, Jericho, a peak Jericho will do like 2 million damage, right? Like the highest of the highest, 6/6 ultimate, 6-star level 80 Jericho with maximum Gila attached to her, with everything set up properly, will do like somewhere between like 2 to 3 million damage. And then Derieri will do the same setup. She actually is easier to set up because she does self-buffing. Will do like 10 million damage. And it's like not even close. Just completely destroys Jericho.
Yeah, and when you're at that point where she does 10 million damage with ultimate, she'll hit for like 400, 500k for normal attacks. Consistently, every time.
So,
and she dodges, by the way.
Oh right, yeah, she has evasion. So we're not gonna go beyond that. Like that's pretty much what she does. Best nuker in the game. She's decent in PvP, but mainly a PvE unit. The rest of these people are mostly just like gods in PvP as well as PvE. But Derieri, because she's the best nuker in the game, must have. She will be a general pool unit, so keep that in mind. Now, let's move on to the second category. Valenti is an original unit as well. She came out to counter Lilia. The same way how it's... Lilia plus Meliodas, right? She came out to counter pierce rate or penetration, whatever you want to call it. Her thing relies on resistance, which is also known as patience in JP, because I hate this. I hate the global translations for stuff.
True, same.
But she reduces the opponent's pierce rate by her resistance amount. So she naturally has 20. You can put gear on her as well and get it even higher. But pretty much it's just like she's a counter to Lilia or Blue Demon Meliodas. And she's also really good for Grey Demon, especially Hell when it drops. And just a good overall unit.
You can see that second to last that Mystic has on her right now is the resistance. So he has 127%, so you can definitely get it pretty high.
No, that's recovery rate.
Are you...
resistance is...
Oh, never mind. It's a third one, my bad. No, second one. Yeah, it's the second one. Roll penetration.
Yeah, so mine's almost 30%.
Never mind. You can get it to 100% though if you really try.
And then, like in PvP, you would just use like patience food or resistance food. But yeah, she's not like anything. She's pretty cancerous because she makes the game go a lot slower since people just don't do damage. And it's just like you're in these like super long games. But she is super strong. She is an original unit. You can get her guaranteed. That's why she's down here. She's like amazing, right? So like in terms of how good she is, she like belongs up here. But she's not a necessity in the same sense as these people. Now, Red Escanor and Green, I'm gonna kind of do these two together. Sorry, Red Estarossa, Red Gowther.
Escanor.
Yeah. Technically, it should go like this because it's release date. We're getting Gowther soon. Okay. Gowther is a coin shop unit, but if he's a banner, he's like instead of being here, he's like like above the screen.
Yeah, pretty much. If it was a tier list, he'd be he'd be way off.
It's just that I'm including him here because condition is he is a coin shop unit. He might not be a banner, but he most likely will. And he's best unit in the game for like the longest amount of time. He has a rank up skill, and that single-handedly is cancer. Rank up skill completely changes the game. You can rank up anyone's cards individually with a level 1, or if you get to level 2 or 3, ranks up everyone's cards. And it's broken. It just changes how the game functions.
Broken. Especially in raids when you run 2 of them and everyone ranks up each other and then you just have
it stacks. Cards. Like you can rank up your teammates' cards. So in raids, it changes runs from going from like a 10-minute Red Demon run to a 2-minute Red Demon run. Just because of how fast you're going through it now. So yeah, amazing unit, best possible unit of the game. Just make sure you understand that he's here simply because he is also a coin shop unit. So if you don't pull him, you can get him guaranteed with 5 platinum coins. Red Escanor, also amazing unit, amazing in story, amazing in PvP. Pairs very well with Lilia as well. Just a monster overall, but also a coin shop unit. Same condition applies. I'm not going to go too much into him because I want to get things rolling.
Yeah, that's a whole other video.
Yeah. Red King is a garbage unit. He does no damage whatsoever. Completely useless. But his passive is why he's here. His passive is reduce penetration by half and any additional penetration gain by another half. So Lilia, pierce rate. Lilia, who provides whatever penetration or pierce rate, it's cut in half. and then the amount she gives out to her teammates is also cut in half. And then if Demon Meliodas was to use his move that does 3 times pierce rate, that's also cut in half. So you kind of get the point. You use him in the back for his passive. As soon as he comes out, he's useless and will do absolutely nothing for you. But his passive single-handedly carries him to like a must-have unit on PvP. Yeah, so if you see him, summon for him. Hopefully you get lucky. But he's never going to be used besides that. Galand and Friends category.
Galand may come out soon, and he will be like a god in PvP for like a decent while, not too long. Mainly, like we talked about commandments earlier. His commandment is if you rank up or rank down a skill, you get petrified. So Gowther just gets absolutely destroyed by him, and his passive makes it so he pressures an enemy, and disables debuffs. Like let's say your king wants to petrify a unit, but he's pressured. That attack will automatically focus on Galand, like a taunt kind of, and the debuff will not apply. Like the petrify will just wear off. If it's an AOE that debuffs, the whole AOE doesn't debuff. So that's why he's good. He's good against Kingbrim, but then when Escanor drops, he'll be a lot less useful in PvP.
He pretty much falls off.
In PvE.
Yeah. So that's mainly, he's amazing while he's out, but the issue is Escanor comes out shortly after and destroys him, just like in the anime.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then And Friends is similar condition to Gowther and Red Escanor. These are coin shop units that you can pick up for 5 coins, and they're really, really good. So if they are a banner, I would summon for them, but just keep in mind that they are coin shop units. They're not as amazing as Gowther and Red Escanor, so they're
not must-haves, but they're really good to have.
Like, you will get them at some point. When I say must-have, like, the minute they come out, you want that unit, right? Demon Meliodas and Merlin are like, okay, you know, you will get them eventually, and they will be amazing when you get them, but you're not going to, like, implode if you don't summon them on day 1, or the minute they come out. Like, I didn't pull Merlin until her 2nd rotation in the coin shop. That was like a month and a half after she came out. And then Demon Meliodas, I got him immediately, but I didn't really use him for the longest time until Crimson Raid dropped. He's a must-have for Crimson Raid, the same way Green King is a must-have for Grey Demon. But besides that, they don't get... Merlin is amazing in PvP. He's usable in PvP, pretty decent in PvE, but mainly there for raids. And, yeah, anything else you want to add?
That's pretty much it. Like I said, if you're free to play, definitely follow this. If you spend a little here and there, then I guess if you want to do multis, go do multis. But this is probably the best units to save your gems for. Skip everything else unless one of us makes another video about it. But pretty much just wait.
Like,
and limited unit is a whole other thing too.
Global can change simply because we don't know exactly their plan. Yeah, I don't think we included a single limited, like, event unit on here, and we'll talk about those later, because none of the event units are, like, game-breaking, but they're all pretty good. But yeah, as long as, like, if you pull each and every one of these units, your account is set forever. Like, if you pull these units as they're released, you will not need another unit in this game.
Until the next banner comes out, maybe. Yeah.
Right. So, hopefully this helps you guys out. This is the whole pool of characters to give you an example of how many units you don't need to summon for.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
And the thing is, you will end up, while summoning for these, you will end up with almost all of these. That's just how the game is, plus the SSR tickets. And that's really it. This is the list for you to, you know, follow summoning stuff, things. Make sure you pull Rimuru, and his sword is really cool. That's it. Also, I kind of like Benimaru, so we're gonna show off Benimaru.
Benimaru is cool, yes sir.
I didn't buy his costume though.
Nah, he's got the drip. It's fine.
Yeah, I got everything, but there is an additional costume for him. Man, woo! Benimaru. Let's get it. Okay, that's it. Video's long enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure take a look at what Sora's doing on his channel. We'll probably do some more videos. I know we got a PvP video in mind as well. Sora's been doing a little bit of a challenge with some other YouTubers. Keep in mind, I like doing videos with friends, so you'll probably see a bunch of us on these things more often. And that's it. Anything else you want to add?
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.